Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome to the First Division review show. We only had 3 games then for decision this weekend. The Treaty one against Athlone was called off due to an unplayable pitch. Obviously, Longford had a week off this week, which is unfortunate for them because the game was called off last week. We'll start off at Turner's Cross, where there was a massive crowd for this one, nearly 5,000, which is amazing for First Division fixture. Cork City, unfortunately for them, were beaten 1-0 at home to Galway. Great start for Cork last week. Galway, now it's a great start for them. They went in front in 38 minutes, but Warrawoo was actually sent off in 50. Cork pushed as hard as they could, but Conor Kearns was in fantastic form. I suppose they'll wonder how they lost the game, Daz.
Yeah, look, that was a great result for Galway, going down to Turner's Cross. And like you said there, like 5,000, like that has to be one of the highest throughout both divisions. It's amazing. And before we go into the game, I just quickly hope the Cork fans keep this up and keep backing their team. And, like that's brilliant. And I'm sure a lot of people, myself included and yourself, would love to have Cork back in the Premier Division. I miss going down to Turner's Cross. I miss the fans. I miss their travelling support. It was great. It's great banter with our fans too, and look, great, brilliant. But I hope Cork come up this season. But to get into the game, then that's a great result for Galway. They're so hurt from last season for not having gone up to finish second and haven't done so well. That was the game to win. And like I was saying there, Cork. No, I'm not saying that they become complacent, but it's a time to try and hit them hard, because a 6-0 win, it could be a lot of hanging on to that in the dressing room before they went into the game. And it was time to play them, I think, and try and put it up to them. And they did that, and they got the win. And look, they're going to be delighted with that. A win away from home, a clean sheet. Brilliant, really good. 3 points on the board away from home. And, they're going to possibly one of the hardest teams in the division, and obviously one of the most intimidating places with 5,000 fans, because they could be going for that with 5,000 and then going to Athlone with, respect, 100. Big difference. And that's just fans. But brilliant result for Galway. John Coffey would be delighted with.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Yeah, absolutely. JP, yeah, I mean, there was always going to be a bit more pressure, I thought, on Cork coming in this game, having had that brilliant start last weekend. And I don't think they would have been complacent. They created a lot of chances actually in the match as well. But I suppose they'd be kind of happy enough with the performance in many ways. But I suppose we have to talk about as well Colin Healy as well, who seems to have taken a leave of absence as well. We don't know what the story is there, but for personal reasons. So it doesn't sound great, does it, to be fair?
No.
And a big loss to Cork as well.
No, it doesn't. It's a huge loss whenever you get your boss, your manager. But whenever he has to take a leave of absence, and whatever the case is, we wish him all the best and hope that whenever he's ready, he's back in the dugout. But for Cork, they would have wanted to put on a good performance off the back of a great win last week against Bray. I don't think anybody would have expected them to win so heavily last week. But they did. One thing that Colin Healy and his coaching team would have been looking for, if they didn't beat Galway, was a performance, and I think they got that, and it shows that Cork could be one of the teams that could make the playoffs this year. I don't think that they'll make they'll make the automatic promotion spot and win the league. I think that'll be either Waterford or Galway. And then you look at the crowd that was there, it shows you the potential that Cork City have. And if they can make the playoffs this year, who knows? We've seen what happened last year. Galway finished second. UCD, I think, finished 5th or something. UCD was the team that got promoted. So if Cork can make the playoffs this year, it'd be a good season for them. And you never know, they might get promoted off the back of the playoffs. But they'd be disappointed not to win the game. Obviously, you always are. But I think they'll be happy with the performance they put on, especially off the back of the win they got last week.
Yeah, Galway would be absolutely delighted to go to a packed Turner's Cross and to come away with the 3 points. It's the type of result that makes John Caulfield very giddy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think he loved them results, didn't he, whenever he was managing Cork, just grinding out the 1-0 or the 2-1 wins. And he'd be delighted with that, especially going back to Turner's Cross, a ground he knows too well. So, yeah. I'd say he's delighted, and it's points on the board for Galway early doors.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic start for Galway United. Obviously, Waterford beat Bray 1-0 at the RSC, and a fella you'll know, fairly well. Britain obviously got on the goal scoring charts there. He was on loan, or not on loan, sorry, on trial. A couple of pre-season games for Derry. Seen him play myself, but he looks like he could be a handful in that first division. And I think Waterford will be absolutely delighted with this, because when you get a big win opening day of the season, you know, you're almost expected to back it up with a big win. And particularly that Bray were beaten by 6 against Cork. For Waterford just to go and win the game and almost grind out the game, although they had chances to further increase their lead in this game as well. But they'd be delighted with that, almost more so, I think, than the win in that loan.
Oh, they will be, as you say. The spotlight would have been on them after picking up that was a 5-2 win in the first game. And then because Bray had lost so heavily, the spotlight would have been on even more for Waterford to go and run up even more goals against them. But Britain came in. I think he spent a week on trial, and they played against Drogheda, scored in that game. Played against Institute, scored in that game. And I thought he was the type of player that he was good at holding the ball up and stuff like that. He's a good target man. And I just think eventually Derry eventually got Matty Smith. And I think that's possibly why he didn't end up signing for Derry. But fair play to Drogheda. They obviously watched them somehow, Waterford. They obviously watched them somehow and bit the bullet and went and got him. And he's hit the ground running now. He's got the winning goal the other night, and the Waterford be delighted. 2 wins from 2. Ian Morris is the manager who knows this division well. He's 100% record in the division when it comes to winning it, and I'm sure that they'll be looking to keep that record going this season.
Yeah, that's the reason why I have so much confidence in Waterford winning the league is results like this. Generally, Ian Morris had a knack at Shelbourne when they weren't playing. He knows how to win leagues. You know, when they weren't playing well, he could pick up results, be quite solid at the back. I can see a lot of results this season from Waterford in that sense, but I'm not so sure, with maybe the exception of Galway, to be fair. But in general, I'm not so sure that Galway would have, say, the quality overall that Waterford have in these kind of matches as well. So it's a good win for them, isn't it? And a great start to have 6 points for 2 games. Like, they're off running.
That's a great start for Waterford. It's absolutely brilliant. And like I was saying last week, it was going to be a hard game for them. I haven't seen highlights of this, so I'm only judging by the results and what I know from the game and all, and speaking to you about it. Plus, and other people, like a few people were speaking to me about the Waterford result too, and they were saying, like what you said, they dug in deep. They just got stuck in, and look, they just brought it to Bray and they grinded out the result, and that's exactly what you need to do, I think, in this division to get out of it. You know, especially after getting such a big win, and the squad Waterford have, they're a Premier Division squad. They've got a lot of experience in that squad. They've got some very good players that could easily be playing in the Premier Division, in Premier Division. And look, it was kind of there for Bray to kind of shock us and, you know, try and get a win, like, you know. But Waterford, serious quality out that team, like really, really good quality, and that's the type of winning team now that's going to go up and go places. And I think every match Waterford playing, I think they're going to be under pressure to win, because they're going to be expected to win, because it's the quality they have, like the abundance of quality. You back them against nearly any team in Division 1 to win. Like, if you're going every week, you'd nearly back them to win, like you would. If you had to pick who's going to win, you're going to back Waterford, I think, just on paper alone. But Ian Morris, he's gotten out of this division a few times, young manager, knows the league inside out, knows the players inside out, knows how to get a win. You know, changes, and I think they got the right manager for this division to get out, and they got a good squad and a good core of players there. And I don't think they'll have any problems getting out of the league. I think they should win it. And look, it's another 3 points. It's a really good result for them. Yeah,
from Bray's point of view, I suppose the case of, look, get back to basics. You know, let's try and defend well as much as we can in the game. And you know, they might see it. There are no points after 2 games, but they have to look at the positives from this and say, look, to put up some sort of fight in the game, and hopefully they can carry that on into the next game.
But look, on paper they were probably stronger. Sorry, JP, I was going to say, looking at it from paper, they were stronger than what they would have been the previous week, and obviously a much better scorelines. It's still a loss, but like you said, taking the positives out of it against Waterford, probably weren't going to win that one. But now, you know, they got these teams out of the way. They can try and win a few next games and get a few points on the board.
I think I touched on it in the previous show that Brave will be looking to get a performance out of this game because of what happened in the last game. They lost 6-0. And the fact that they'll be disappointed again, yes, that they've lost because it's 3 defeats from 3, but I'm sure they'll be happy with the performance that they've dug in, they fought for one another, and it's just about building on the performance and going out next week and getting the win. And once you get the win under your belt, then hopefully then for Brave's point of view, they'll be able to kick on and get more wins.
Yeah, finished Cove 2, Wexford 3, which was the game of the week, certainly in the first division.
Yeah.
OGs, penalty kicks and red cards, and obviously 5 goals in this one. And the old Fox scoring a couple of goals as well and winning the game for Wexford and Dinny Corker and Dad's. Great to see him back fit though, isn't it?
Yeah, look, he's definitely probably the best striker in Division 1 on his day, and he's had a great record, obviously, in the Premier Division. He's scored goals anywhere he's went, apart from the last year or so. He went through a big injury crisis, but
when he's fit, he's going to score goals. I think
when he's fit, he's going to score, especially at this division. And he's in the box kind of player, and he's a big man up front, and headers, volleys, finishings, finesses, he can do it. And I think Wexford have got a really good, honest, hard-working player in their hands here. And look, everyone knows him. And he's one of my favourite players at Bohs, and he's still very well liked at Bohs and throughout the league. And I'm still surprised Wexford got him. It's obviously great that they got him really, really good, and he's off the mark. And hopefully he can score a good few goals this season and get Wexford wins like this, because Wexford went through a good few seasons finishing bottom and barely any points. And I hope this turns around for them, even short term now, and get a few wins, score a few more goals, get a few more fans down at the ground, and really good. I suppose looking at Cove then, scoring 2 goals and not getting a draw, not even in a point at home, it's disappointing, and obviously they put up a fight, they scored 2 goals, they made chances, but Wexford is too powerful, and they obviously brought a lot more chances to them, and they pushed them, and they got scored 3 goals away from home, and they'll be delighted with that. But look, at least Cove scored 2 goals, I suppose, and if they can be a bit more defensively stronger in the next few games, they might pick up a few more results along the way. But brilliant results for Wexford. I really hope that they have a better season this season.
Yeah, JP, the great thing about this division, seen it last year as well, is that you can go and get destroyed almost the week before and then come out the next week and get a result. And that's exactly what Wexford have done. They'll be delighted with that, won't they? And the way they did it as well, the two, they were behind twice in this match as well, and they grabbed the late goal, 81st and 89th minute.
This looked like a really good game to be at. It looked end to end. Both teams certainly had their fair share of chances. As you say, Wexford got beat last week. The last thing they didn't want to do this week is loss. And they could very easily have done that. They went behind twice. Then the red card, the penalty for handball, and then the red card turned the game in Wexford's favour. And they could have won by more, but they get the first win under their belt. They'll be delighted. They'll know that they've been in a game. Cove will be disappointed having taken the lead twice and not got anything from it. But I'm sure they'll take heart from it, if anything, and use it to build on for the next few games at least. But touching on Dinny Corkin there, he scored goals wherever he's been in the Premier Division. Get him in the First Division team, get him the service, he'll score goals, and that's exactly what he did on Friday night.
Brilliant stuff, guys. We'll leave it there. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what games you were at maybe last week as well. Subscribe if you're new, hit your bell notification button, and like the video if you enjoyed the content. Cheers, lads. Brilliant stuff.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.